Welcome back to The Will of the Hunted. My name is AJ Nichols, and today's guest is a talented musician, producer, and performer, and a good friend of mine. Her sophomore album, The Chameleon Complex, is coming early next year, and she has already had some of her singles played on BBC Radio. Please welcome the Chameleon, Gigsy. This podcast is for support and commentary only, not professional advice. I am not a licensed clinician. This podcast might be triggering to some listeners as we have honest discussions about trauma, but we have lighter conversations about mental health and identity as well. And if you need help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources. And remember, you are not alone. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm excited to talk to you. It's been a few years that we've known each other online.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I think I discovered you on TikTok a few years ago, and then your song Snakeskin immediately made me a fan.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember that it was Modesta, and well, yeah, you remember you keep saying that that's the one, and you're not alone on that one. Quite a few people love that song.
I do too, and I was so excited when you sent me the CD. I have it upstairs, and I still love it, and I have your letter with it and everything. It's so sweet.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love writing people letters because it's like a nice little personal touch as well. It's like, because I do genuinely, feel very grateful that people support me and my music. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was very sweet, and it's been really cool to see your career blow up over the past few years as well.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So let's start with, how would you describe yourself?
So that is a complex question. No. Well, for quite some time, I didn't really know, I guess, how to describe myself. I think I've landed on eclectic, electric, and eccentric. I just think that sounds a little bit snappy.
I like that.
But I would say that I'm kind of a bit of everything. I don't really like to box myself in when it comes to music or being creative in any way, because I don't know, nobody likes to be restricted in their art. And I mean, growing up on the artists that I did, where everything was about transformation and exploring different sounds and stuff, it just makes sense to me to also be the same. Like, that's what I grew up on.
Exactly. Yeah, growing and changing. And I love the concept of the chameleon, because your art has kind of changed aesthetics and changed sounds over the years, and you're just continuing to find your identity and reshape it, which is really cool to watch.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it just kind of feels natural to do that, especially in music. And as you mentioned with the BBC, I spoke to them a few days ago, and
Yeah.
it was basically me just being like, I mean, it makes sense without the visual world and without like embracing it all. Like Charlie XCX said as well, she was like, the music is nothing without the visual side of it as well. So yeah, things like that really stick into my head. Watching other artists and like embracing the world of art and the sound into the visuals is like, it's just part of the whole package of making music, at least for me anyway. Like, and I think for a lot of people, that's what they expect from music, especially in like the current day and age, where you've got artists that, there's a whole aesthetics bit like Brat and Mayhem and things like that. There's just whole worlds built around the music.
I love that so much, and your visuals have always really impressed me, especially like the Chameleon album cover. I saw that on Twitter and I was like, holy shit.
Honestly, like, I've been thinking of this concept. Like, this concept was basically formed like from the start that I became Gigsy. Like, it was something that I had thought about, and I was like, this would be a really cool concept. What would it be? So like when I did obviously decide it's the right time, and like coming up with the aesthetic was like, I had to shop around a bit, I guess, at what felt right. And then when the music started to take shape, I was like, okay, well, I know what the aesthetic needs to be. And yeah, the album cover, like there's so many, I'm gonna like eventually go through and like show what iterations I had, but it was a long process, like the longest I've had for creating an album cover art or artwork for music, which is insane to think about, but it's a lot of like different layers to it. There's photo, there's digital drawing, there's like photo bashing and like layering. There's just a lot of like texture to it, which I think encapsulates, I guess, the sound of the overall project, when obviously people have to wait and decide that for themselves.
Yeah.
But for my ears and eyes, I'm like, no, this matches.
I love it so much, and seeing the first two singles come out already, Susie and the Regulars and Purgatory.
Yes, yeah.
Are there any more singles coming out before the album drops early next year?
Yes, I am planning to do two more. I've got two more planned so far. One which will hopefully be at the end of October, for like Halloween, and then the next one probably at the end of the next month, so that then I can then start really ramping up the album release, which will be early 2026 in January. So like,
okay,
yeah.
You sent me a snippet, or you sent me like an unreleased track. Was that one of the singles that hasn't come out yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the next one.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm so excited. That was a really fun song.
Thank you for like review. Like honestly, it was so like fun and exciting to watch like someone else react, because it's different when you're like doing it in your room and you're like listening to yourself and you think you're like dying to like see and hear how other people react and what they think. Yeah. And like, because it's kind of, it's not lonely as such when you're making your music, but it's like the only people that you share it with is yourself. And then like, you know, I guess my boyfriend, I'm like, listen to this, I just did it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, I mean, I act as if like I'm some big celebrity that is like, oh, don't leak the song, like no one can hear. But it's like, you know, you've still got to remember that like that really affects, even if you're a small artist, like if something like that was to happen, it's, yeah. So you've got to factor in all these things as well. But with this one, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to send it to people and just like, as a thank you for supporting me. So like seeing your reaction was so fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sending it to me. And I forgot to mention, but one of the songs that it reminded me of that I didn't mention in the TikTok review was, I don't know if you know Gorillaz, but there's a song called Valley of the Pagans with Beck, I think. I'm really bad with like song titles when it comes to artists that I don't like actively listen to, but I can imagine that there is bits of like, I guess Gorillaz, because they were, well, obviously lead singers from the 90s, and like, yeah, they kind of have that alt rock kind of sound like Gorillaz, and that, and synth especially. Yeah, and they do a lot of like meta commentary about the digital landscape and like parasocial relationships as well, and I was just like, ooh, yeah. And the sound too, I was like, this is really, I love Gorillaz, so this was really like making me happy. So
thank you.
So you've cited Marina and Gaga as inspirations for your music. Who else has made you interested in becoming a musician over the years?
So my early years, I had a ABBA VHS, my nan's VHS. It was like the is it ABBA Gold, where it was like their anniversary, and they released that on VHS, and I would replay that, and I actually burnt out like the tape, so they had to get another one. And it's the same thing. My dad listens to a Scottish band, because he's Scottish, called Runrig, and there was a live concert videotape, and I did the exact same thing to that. So there's like these things that obviously I grew up on that I watched and listened to that literally I burnt the tapes out.
Wow.
And I also grew up listening to like Gary Newman, Ultravox, Pet Shop Boys, like an array of Sisters of Mercy as well. So like an array of different types of music. And I guess from a young age, I just knew that music was like special. Mm-hmm. And we always say, I mean, looking back now, it was like, oh, it's the autism. But looking back, it's like, I didn't speak properly until I was like 6.
Yeah.
And I would just hum.
Yeah.
Like I was doing that before I was talking properly. And
oh, wow. So music was your first language?
Basically. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I would say like bits and bobs here and there, but I wasn't talking like, they were like taking me to doctors and being like, there's something going on here. I think they thought I had a speech impediment or was deaf or something for a bit. And then like, I just suddenly started talking one day. Like
wow.
full sentences, just started talking.
But you could hum melodies first.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
so really I guess it was
crazy.
Just ingrained into me.
You were born to be a musician.
I was born to be A Star is Born.
A Star is Born. When you did start making music, you originally were called Margot, and then you used your real name, Chloe.
Yeah.
When did you switch to the name Gigsy, and where did that name come from?
It must have been around 2021, 2022. I'm trying to think of when I released Modesta. That must have been around 2021, roughly. And I decided to change my name because I was in college when I chose Margot, and Margot was a nickname from my middle name, which is Margaret, and I thought it sounded cool. And then I decided to change it because I was like, it doesn't feel right. So then I went by my actual name, just spelt a bit differently, and I stuck with that for a while. And it got to a point where it's like, this just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel correct, me going on stage and saying, hi, I'm Chloe. Like, it just feels icky. Like, there's something, it's like nails on a chalkboard. And like, so then I was like, I need to change my name. I need a rebrand. I feel like I've been like trying to find my sound for so long that I kind of got lost in, I guess, not mimicking my inspirations, but I guess it was a very much like I was heavily inspired by them. And I think that kind of tainted my own, I guess, vision for myself. Mm. So originally I was going to pick Gigs, obviously play on like, obviously gigging and gigs. And also I used to get in trouble in school all the time for giggling. So I was like, oh, it's a cute short name for like a nickname if you're giggly kind of thing, like Gigs. And then I realized there's a grime rapper called Gigs, and I was like, oh, even if it's spelt different, that's a bit too close. I don't think I would come up if people googled. So then Gigsy just kind of came into my head, and I was like, okay, like and I kind of chose that because I felt that it was a bit androgynous, a bit ambiguous, and it kind of is like you don't really know what to expect, I guess, with it. And I was like, I feel that fits, I guess, for what I would want to do and what avenue I want to go down, which was a darker like sound at the time. So yeah, and now when I introduce myself as Gigsy, it doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel, I'm like, no, this is right. Like, I feel like this should have been my name from birth.
Right. Yeah. Like kind of having that almost separation from reality, like a fantasy escape. This is who I want to be. Yeah. This is who I want you to see. Like, forget the real person.
Exactly.
Forget the girl behind the aura.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is me, like, you know, unmasked. Because when I perform, I think it's the most like unmasked that I am, which is weird because you'd think that if I'd got up there, I would be nervous, and I am, but I'm also at the most comfortable. It's not like oh my God, I've got to go to the supermarket type of nerves. It's like oh my God, I'm gonna perform and get to like showcase what I can do kind of nerves. And yeah, so performing to me is like the most at home I feel, I think, in my skin and in front of other people, which is really weird because I really don't like being perceived. So it's,
Yeah.
I'm just like really contradictory, I think.
When did you start performing, like in actual venues?
So that would have been around college time. So I must have been about 18 because so in the UK, you either, once you finish your like GCSEs, which is high school, um, you then either go to college or uni. I don't really know what it would be over there because college is, I think, must be what uni is to us. So,
Okay.
whereas college is like an extended learning, but you're treated like an adult. It's just you don't have to go move anywhere. You don't have to like, you can just go to college like school.
Oh, I think we call that community college here in America.
Oh, okay. That might be, yeah. So it might be like the same, yeah, same thing, but you only do one subject.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I went and did that after doing sixth form and finishing everything at my secondary school. And that was when I did a music course for live performance.
Wow.
And obviously through that you kind of get gigs. That was when I first did busking, which was terrifying. And I decided the first time I ever busked, I decided I was going to do Mowgli's Road by Marina.
What is busking? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. So it's like you go on to like street performing. So you go, you have a spot like in the city, and you've just got a speaker in your microphone or like an instrument, and you go and play for people that are like just walking past and commuting. I don't know what they'd be called in America, but it's like literally just people that I think they must do it like on the underground over there, like the subway or wherever it is, and people will stand and play guitar. So it's kind of a similar thing, except for you've got like legal permission to do it in the UK.
Gotcha. Yeah, we just call them street performers, I think, but usually they don't have permits to be there.
Yeah. I mean, that does happen over here too. But yeah, it's like you have to apply for it. And because I was doing it with college, they had to go the legal route. But
Wow.
yeah, so the first time that I kind of, I guess, pushed myself out of my comfort zone was doing that, because that was like, these people aren't here to see me. They're just trying to get to work. They're trying to get from point A to B. And I'm
Yeah.
just singing Cuckoo into a mic, like the first lines of Mowgli's Road. And people are like looking like, okay, why is she not singing like Wonderwall? Like, what is she doing? But yeah, so then we had like end of year performances where we'd be marked, and it was at an O2 Academy. I don't know what size venue would be similar over there. And I guess I've kind of performed in like dive bar type venues as well.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I started, and it's kind of how I've remained, because the music scene in the UK is amazing, but due to COVID and due to a lot of like budget cuts and things like that, and a lot of venues closed down. So it's a struggle. And like, because of how I am, I don't push myself outside of my comfort zone too much to where I then have to travel too far, because then that's a whole other side of anxiety, you know? And I think, you know, it's great performing live, but it's so exhausting. At least for me anyway, it's like, it's a lot.
What's your favorite place that you've performed?
Oh, I would say there's a venue called the Library, and I'm performing there, funnily enough, next month.
Cool.
So going back to there, but that venue, it's like underground. The room is so small. There's not a stage. You're all level. But I think because it feels so like it's underground, it's like, it's intimate in a way that isn't uncomfortable too much, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not looking at the crowd. I'm too busy focusing on like just getting through the lyric.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think that's probably my favorite venue. Or but I do like I performed at the Bullingdon, which is like that is a similar thing to Ojo Academy, but that's got a stage and everything, and you can look out over the crowd. And
Cool.
I was very drunk when I performed there though, so that might be why I've got a fond memory.
Do you like normally perform with like a little bit of something, or are you kind of, because that probably helps the edge a little bit?
Yeah, so I not so much now. I used to get quite a bit drunk before going on during my college time. And I could because I was the oldest. Like everyone else was like 16, 17, and I was like, I'm 18, I can drink, you can't. But like I was in like an alt rock kind of band in college, and I think in my head I was like, I need to sell it. What do all the rock people do? Oh, they drink, they party, they do drugs. I was just like, yeah, let's go on. I'd be having 2 ciders and I'd be gone. I'm a lightweight, so I'd be like, yeah, I'm drinking 2 ciders, that was it. And it just kind of like settles the nerves that I did have back then when performing, because it felt so new and like weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't do it so much now. I might have one, and I normally take it up with me, and I'm finishing it during my performance. So it's not like a dependency sort of thing. It just loosens up the old bones, you know?
Yeah. It's probably different that you're alone on stage versus with a band as well. So people are just kind of not watching you just like throw them back alone on stage.
Yeah, well, I'm just like, in the band, I was like, I need to be the most drunk because I need everyone's eyes on me. No, I'm joking.
All the different places you performed, that's like street performing, that's really interesting too. That's probably terrifying.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do it again. I think the difference is, it's like the music I make now is not street performance. Like, I don't play a guitar, I can't just decide I'm gonna go and like do a busking session, because my music I don't think is fitted for that environment. Like, you know, I don't mean it like a cocky way. I don't mean like, oh, my music isn't busking music. It's just like logically.
It's like club electro, like dance music.
Yeah, and like I could try, but I think I'd get quite a few complaints and people saying turn it down, turn it off.
How did you learn how to make music? Because you produce pretty much everything yourself, right?
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it all myself. I've only ever worked with one other producer on a song, and it was a great experience. But I just realized, A, I don't have the money to do it that way, but also B, I'm too much of a bit of a control freak that like, and I'm bad at articulating myself, like, and saying what I want. So it's just better I do it. But yeah, so I taught myself how to play keyboard when I was about 15. And I was very, very lucky. I will hold my hands up and say, like, I'm very lucky and privileged to have had the equipment back then and now to make the music, because it's not cheap. And I taught myself how to use GarageBand. I used to use like earphone mics to like record the vocals. I did not know what a time signature was. I was not putting on a metronome. I was just hitting keys and singing over the top. It was a mess. But like, the more obviously that I began to play around with it and was like, okay, let me try and make a song that sounds like this or this. It was when I then started to build up, I guess, the skills. And I never really did any research on it. I just let, I guess, my intuition guide me. And I had a bit of help in college with music production, but that wasn't the main focus of the course. It was performance. So a lot of it I did teach myself just by ear and by, I guess, intuition and instinctive gut feelings when I'm listening back to a track or stuff. And it's only really been in the last maybe 2 years that I feel pretty confident in my production skills, compared to what they used to be. I mean, it's like In the Ether, I think, was where I really took a turning point. I don't know what happened, but suddenly I was able to do things that I couldn't do a year ago on production. And so I think playing around with sounds really help as well, because sticking with one genre I think it boxes you in mentally when you're then going to make something, because you just go back to the same formula that you did for the last song. And so playing around definitely helped as well. But I mean, it's been 10 years of me playing around to get to the point that I'm at now.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years. That's
insane.
Wow. And you kind of, at least since I've known you, you kind of started in a darker aesthetic with Modesta and In the Aether, and then you've recently switched over into this bright, colorful 80s new wave Bowie direction. And what made you kind of switch directions like that?
So I mean, I think for the project, I think it's kind of like there's a bit of a don't trust everything that you're seeing. Not in like a, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's kind of like a don't trust like the bright colors too much in terms of, I guess, more lyrical content. Even sonically, there are some songs that obviously they are lighter, like Purgatory is a lighter song in comparison to what I usually do. I think it was just a natural switch, because this was something that I was doing before I then pivoted into a darker look and sound. And it's just something that I find I flip-flop a lot. And I think this is just an instinctive part of me that is inherently there, that it's like, there's so many facets that it's hard to kind of stick to one thing. I mean, it's like I've done a song on the Homemade Heroin Deluxe that I released called Eat the Doubt, and that's literally like, it's so heavy. It's like, it's metal rock, like, you know, there's like whisper screams in it and things like that. And then you go like to another project and it's hip hop kind of inspired. Yeah. So I think I've always been a very bouncing back and forth artist. But I think I wanted to go down a lighter route, because I just feel like in the current climate of the world and life and the governments and whatever else, I kind of feel like we need a little bit of like whimsy. We need a little bit of color, and like, you know, I guess in a way I've kind of leaned more into the colorful world as like, I guess, cope with the fact that, you know, I don't look at the world and I don't see bright colors. It's kind of like I need to create my own world again, even though I've just done that within the Ether. But In the Ether was basically my own inner world, whereas now with Chameleon Complex, I want to like make the outer world. I'm like, this is how I want the world to be colorful. I want it to be like embracing everyone and everything. Like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, so I think it just felt very instinctive to kind of go down that route, especially with synth pop. Like, as I said, that was something that I kind of started in, and it feels a bit like a full circle moment that I'm like, oh, I'm going back to where I started. Like,
yeah, I love what you said about wanting to create the outside world the way that you want it to be, more colorful and everything. But at the same time, the lyrics are still very heavy hitting and very analytical and self-aware. And you're talking about the parasocial and like the role of the digital world and our own mental health. And it's a very, it feels like a very natural evolution for your work, but it's exciting to see it become even more pop and like colorful as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's like I will always be, I guess, a very analytical writer. I don't think that I can just make a song that is like, I wish there's only one song I've ever, I think, written in recent times that I've been proud of, that was like just a pure like emotional song about like love, or like, because I just can't do it. My mind is too focused on, I guess, analyzing myself and analyzing people around me and the world around me. And I mean, I that's probably my neurodivergence of like, I'm trying to understand the world and like why it is the way it is. Why am I the way I am? Like, and I find writing music is like me processing kind of thing, which is why I'm constantly making music. It's like that my brain is never silent, so there's always going to be a song somewhere.
I think the best art, in my opinion, comes from neurodivergent artists, because we know how to create like a world around the music and analyze things from so many different perspectives and from an outside view. And we create concepts. It's not just we're talking about what's happening.
I think it's because we've had to do that.
Yeah.
Like our whole life, that is what I feel like I've had to do. I've had to analyze people. I had to then analyze myself because of their reactions to me. I've had to, like, I was always told I was a daydreamer in school. Like I just was literally in my own little world all the time. Like, and I, like, and speaking about like the song that I sent you, which I basically wrote it about how the TV raised me. I was like, how did I come to understand empathy? How did I come to understand like pinpointing what emotion is what? And it was all through watching my favorite TV shows or films. It was things that I like watched and then was like, so that means this. And like music, especially within those things, music tells you what emotion you're meant to feel in those scenes. If you remove the music, at least for me, if you remove the music in a scene for me, I might not understand exactly how I'm meant to feel. It might not evoke the same empathy and reaction from me. Whereas if you put a soundtrack in, it's like things click into place for me. And I'm like, if I had that in real life, I'd be less, I think, stoic when it comes to processing other people's like emotions, sort of thing.
That just blew my mind, because I've never realized that I've used music to tell me how to feel when I'm not sure how I should feel being neurodivergent.
It's like, even when you're like you're in a bit of a mood and you don't know what it is, and then you go, I'm going to listen to my favorite artist or this specific song. How I describe it is it's when you put your phone on shuffle, you put your music on shuffle, and you're stood there going, no, that's not right, that's not right. And then there's that one song, you're like, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. That's how I describe it. It's like,
yeah. And you've talked about your neurodivergence online, and what has that been like? What kind of response have you gotten from your fans?
I mean, I don't think anyone was surprised. Like when I finally was like, oh yeah, I got the diagnosis. Surprise, surprise. But like it's been really positive, and I think if people didn't realize, they'd probably go, oh no, actually that makes a lot of sense. But I think being autistic is very like it's weird what to talk about, because there's the toxic positivity of the movement, and then there's like the negativity of it. And like, I'm not ever going to say that my autism's a superpower. Like, I just don't feel that way. But my autism does make me who I am, and it does help me. I don't think that I would be writing or doing the music that I'm doing if I wasn't autistic. But I also won't say that, oh, if I didn't have autism, I would not be like as good, or as, you know, that like I'll jokingly be like, oh, well, see, it does pay off to have autism, kids. But like, I'm never going to mean it that way. And I think there's like a very, there's either toxic, it's like any type of like movement, disability, illness, anything. There's always the toxic side where it's like overtly positive. And then you have the other side, which is just constantly negative. And it's like the reality is for a lot of people is that it's, you're in the middle. Like, you know, it's, you've got good and bad qualities and good and bad days. And but I think, as we obviously said earlier, it's like it does help me build the worlds that obviously I feel like I need to inhabit and be in and write about, kind of thing. And I'm like, I think the only way I can describe myself is that I'm a chameleon in nature and I'm a contradiction, and you know, I feel the need to transform myself, and I think it's all subconscious. Like, I spent so much of my time questioning why am I like this, instead of just understanding that maybe that is just who I am. Maybe I don't need a why. Maybe that's just how I express myself, you know?
So where do you want to be in your career in 5 years?
Oh, retired. No. No. Ideally, you know, it would be nice to be able to do like a small tour over the course of a year or something, where I've got enough people to be able to book small places, like if there's any UK listeners, like O2 academies or something, like small venues. There might even be one smaller than that. I'll take that. But being able to do that and having like people, because to me it's about the connection, and like to be able to build up that connection with people and have them be willing to come see me and things like that. Like, I think it's funny because when I was younger, obviously you're like, I want to be a pop star. I want to be exactly like Lady Gaga. I'm going to do that. And then as you get older, you realize there's reality. And it's not as, especially in now's day and age, like people say that it's easier now to get famous. And I'm like, well, no, it's not, because it's only 2 seconds of fame. You're not famous. You're just like a footnote in the grand scheme of things. Like when you, like, you know, there's the TikTok influencers that then blow up, and like, it's like Addison Rae. She wasn't she's not a footnote anymore. She is now. She's famous. Like, she is making a path for herself, kind of thing. Like, love her or hate her, she's making a path. And I think it's like, you've got to consider that, like, it's a rarity to become as big as people like Lady Gaga, Madonna, David, all these big artists that made it. I don't think it's going to happen the same way, because the landscape's changed. So in reality, I'm very aware that that's not going to happen for me, but I'm just happy, like when Marina first started with like the Family Jewels, well, she was like just really small, like scale to before you make it big. I'd be happy to stay there. That's fine by me. If I could do this for a living, that's all I'd want, you know, to have a small little loyal fan base. That's the goal, I think. Like,
what advice would you have for other new emerging artists who may be neurodivergent and are looking to find their way in like the music industry?
I think just be patient, trust your instinct, which I know can be difficult when you're autistic or neurodivergent. But like, if you have like a bit of a gut feeling about something that isn't too scary, trust it. And I would say just go with what you feel is right. What sound you want, what inspires you, what gets you excited, like what would you go and hear? Because I think that's a thing that artists nowadays may not do. I think they pivot to genres or sounds that they don't actually like, but because it's popular, they go down that route. And I'm like, but imagine like having to then stick with that sound for years and years and years. And like, just don't box yourself in either. Like, have fun with it. Like, I mean, look at Poppy, for example. That's another example.
Yeah.
she pivoted massively, and it went even better for her than the pop stuff, you know? And like, even now she still does different genres. Halsey is another one. Like, I don't understand why, you know, record labels are not the be all and end all anymore. So like, don't worry about them. Just focus on doing what you want to do and make what you want to make, kind of thing.
I think that's a really beautiful message, and it kind of ties into your album as well. Don't be afraid to let yourself grow and evolve and change. Just
Yeah,
have fun and see where it takes you.
exactly.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming on. And
Well,
where
thank
can
you for
everyone
having
follow me?
me.
Of course.
You can follow me on basically all the socials, I think. Instagram is at I am Gigsy, and then everywhere else is Gigsy Music.
And we can't wait to hear the new album, and we're so excited to hear the new singles coming out soon.
I'm excited to put them out. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you again to our guest, Gigsy. And if you need any help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources. And we'll be back next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And just remember, you are not alone. You are not alone. And if you need help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources.